how to become a better man, how to dress properly, how do you properly shave, how do you all these different things, right, that you should be learning from your dad. I didn't have, and so I had to search elsewhere. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the From Boys to Men show. I'm your host, Lheighton Cook. Got an episode. I want to talk about this issue with mentorship. We talk a lot about how the fact that the Squire Program is a father and son event, a class, a program, a rite of passage that happens with father and son. But what about the boys or the young men that don't have their dads? They don't have an uncle. They don't have an older brother or someone to look up to, maybe in the neighborhood, a positive one anyways. What happens to those guys? Like, how are they supposed to learn? I'm going to give you some tips and some insight on how I did it myself. Now, if you guys are just now finding our show for the first time, you obviously don't know my backstory, but I also didn't grow up with my dad. My dad was in prison from when I was 10 months old and then, was incarcerated for 23 and a half years and just came home a couple years ago. And so I struggled with this specific topic a lot in my personal life, not having a male role model to be able to follow. And as you guys know, especially if you're watching this and you don't have a male role model to follow, you understand how dangerous that can be, especially if you follow the wrong person. So obviously we're talking about how we can get on the right path, even if we don't have someone like that to follow. Now, number one, I want to talk about this is the fact that men need to be taught how to be men. It's a lot different than being a girl growing into a woman, being a young woman, because think about it like this. When a mother gives birth to a boy or a girl, when they are first born, the baby doesn't realize that they're not actually their mom. They feel like they are their mom. They haven't separated themselves from their mothers yet. And then there will come a time where they go through the stage where they realize, okay, I'm not actually my mom. My mom is over here. I'm over here. I'm actually not my mom. I'm different. For a little girl, she's gonna realize that she's not her mom, but she still understands that she is still the same creature as her mom. She's still a little girl, and that being the same as who her mom is, right? A younger version. Now, for a little boy, he goes through the same realization as well, but he doesn't understand that he is a different creature than his mom unless he is taught. So he is born, and he realizes that he's not actually part of his mother. He's his own being, but he needs to be taught that he's different than mom in a lot of other different ways as well. He's not just not her. He is his own being, but he's also a little boy who's going to grow up into a young man. And so men need to be taught how to become men. I struggle with this personally. I struggle with this firsthand, not having my dad around, and I was searching for ways to become a better man. How do men move? How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they interact with girls? How do you fight, right? How do you articulate yourself? Like all these different things, right? How do you lift weights? Like all these different things that we feel like are masculine and how to become better leaders and whatever the case is. I was yearning and struggling and hungry for that mentorship anywhere I could find it, like literally anywhere. I actually found myself oftentimes, like when I would meet someone that I developed a close bond with, he became my brother. He wasn't just my friend, he was my brother. And that could either be that I didn't have a role model like my dad to follow after, or follow behind, I should say. Or it could be the fact that I was only child and maybe that was me looking for a sibling and a sibling that wasn't actually there. Whatever the case is, we look for people to connect with and to grow with and to bond with by any means necessary. And so one instance is that I met a man named Aaron Weatherspoon. Aaron Weatherspoon is someone who I would call a brother, literally, which is what I talked about. I consider him my older brother. He considers me his younger brother, not by blood, but as far as I'm concerned, stronger bond than any blood brother that I would have, right? And Aaron taught me a lot of things. Aaron taught me how to fight. And, little fun fact, Aaron was, at the time when he was teaching me these skills, he was welterweight champion of the King of the Cage. And, when his room was super cool because he had all of his belts and stuff like that. He had all these DVDs of him knocking these dudes out. And it was crazy. Like me as a kid, I was like, damn, this dude's a gangster. I'm trying to be like that. And so the reason, first of all, to paint a little better picture for you of how we even got connected in the first place, because I definitely don't want to leave this part of the story out, is that Aaron fell on some tough times, right? And he was looking for a place to stay. And my mom was also looking for someone to watch me, a babysitter. I hate using that word, but a babysitter, because I was 13. I think I was 13 when he first moved in. And so, being a young teenager, she worked night shifts as a registered nurse in LA. We lived in Chino Hills, so she worked 45 minutes away from where I was going to be at. And so she made sure that someone was always there watching me to make sure I didn't burn the house down or invite girls over or whatever 13-year-olds are doing at those days. And so anyways, Aaron turned into much less of a babysitter and turned into a big brother who taught me some things that maybe my mom would have appreciated that he taught me, maybe some things that she wouldn't appreciate that he taught me. Nonetheless, awesome lessons, and we'll have a bond that lasts forever. And one of those things was, like I said, how to fight. He taught me how to box, and since that day when I started boxing, it's been 10 plus years of boxing, and so that's a skill that he taught me that I'll hold, near to me forever. He also taught me how to deal with girls, right? He was telling me, like, dude, low key, you're too soft. You talk to girls like that for real? And I came to him one time complaining. I said, man, I don't know what's going on. Like, I do all these things my mom says to do. I'm polite. I'm nice. I'm the most gentleman. I'm opening their doors and this and that. He was like, bro, it's lame. Like, I get it that you think that that's what you're supposed to do, and you should in some instances, but they don't respect that, especially at that age, bro. You got to wait until they get a little bit older and they get tired of dealing with the bad boys. Then it's like they look for guys like you. I said, hell no, I'm not trying to be that guy. The what's the word I'm looking for? The rebound type of dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be the rebound type of dude where after they deal with the bad boy, then after they want to come and get with the gentleman. Like, I'm not trying to hear that, especially when I'm in high school and I'm trying to do my thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. So anyways, he schooled me on the game of how to deal with girls, how to even work out. We did that as well. He taught me, even though I didn't really follow through with that. I stuck with fighting though. He still taught me these different skills, and that was a huge help to me. And that was something, again, like I said, these skills and these lessons that I'll never forget, and I'm so grateful for. But you might be asking yourself, well, what if I don't have an Aaron in my life? What if I don't have someone to be able to lean on in that way and ask these questions, especially someone who's right next door to me in the next room? I can just knock on his door and ask for advice. What if I don't have that? I have the answer for you, because Aaron didn't live with us forever. He didn't live with us. He lived with us maybe 5 or 6 years. So obviously there was life before Aaron and life after Aaron. What did I do before he moved in and I was able to have this kind of bond with him? I would watch on YouTube different guys that were teaching different topics or skills that I wanted to learn. And so people like Elliot Hulse, huge fan of Elliot Hulse. Elliot Hulse is like a older brother, like a father figure to me. And I used to watch his content religiously. Brandon Carter, Ed Milet, Marquette Devon Burton, who else? Alpha M. Like, I used to watch all these different videos, these different gurus, you might say, on YouTube of how to become a better man, how to dress properly, how do you properly shave, how do you all these different things, right, that you should be learning from your dad. I didn't have, and so I had to search elsewhere. And I knew from a very early age that it was very important that I found someone to follow in this way, because if you don't, then you kind of fall into this mode of just following mom. And mom will tell you what she thinks is the best, but what mom thinks and feels is the best is not oftentimes, but sometimes not the best for raising a young man. They can only and I know in the comments, I already hear it right now. Like, what are you talking about? We can't raise our sons like as a single mom. Or what do you think? I know exactly what kind of man he should be. I can know how to teach him how to change a tire and all these different things. Like, yeah, you can, but it's still not the same as learning it from a man. Let's keep it a stack. And if you want to get mad at me, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the statistics. So anyways, there's that. So I understood from a very early age that it was very important for me to learn this from another man. And so since I didn't have it, I found on YouTube 5 or 6 different people that I would listen to and watch religiously and learn these things. And it helped me build who I was today. I would take bits and pieces of this person, what he would say, bits and pieces of this person, what Elliot was saying, then this person, what Ed Milet was saying, and then Marquette was saying this, and putting it all together and literally building and creating who's talking to you guys today. You guys can do the same. There's literally no excuse for you to be able to lean on the crutch of saying that you didn't have your father around. I get it. It hurts. It sucks. It's not your doing. Like, you're not the one who had him go away. Just because if he got arrested and he's in prison, or maybe he passed away, or maybe to be honest, man, maybe he just didn't want you. Like, he just left. I get it. It sucks. It's hard. It hurts. But that's not your fault. But what is your fault and what is in your control is how you navigate moving forward and who you choose to listen to now that you have to now learn how to become your own man. Even though you won't have him physically, you still have to learn from another man how to be a man. And I encourage you to search for these positive male role models wherever you possibly can, whether it's virtually, whether it's someone in your family, whether it's a neighborhood dad, that maybe your friend's father, something like that. Just find someone you can listen to and you can cling to and ask them these questions. So, and dads, if you're watching this and you're like, well, I'm a dad watching this and I want to be that person for my son. I want to be the one who he goes and asks questions to and wants to learn how to do this for, and he wants to learn how to fight with me. But I don't have that bond with him. I'm not able to connect with him. He just kind of feels like he doesn't want anything to do with me. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. He doesn't have that bond with me. He wants to follow this other guy. Well, I would challenge you to have the conversation with him about why, what happened, right? I remember Bedros gave me some advice one time. He says, Lheyton, so do this with your girls as well, but when you have your son, when he gets older, when he gets to maybe about 10, 11, 12 years of age, have a conversation with him and ask him, say, hey, son. And he said, by the way, have about 2 or 3 examples of times that you've made mistakes in the past. He says, have those handy and say, hey, son, so I know that I've made mistakes in the past. I can name 2 or 3 right now and give him those examples, letting him know that you're self-aware, that you're not perfect. But what else have I messed up on, right? I know I messed up in this area, but what else have I messed up on that you feel like I can improve or that you wish didn't happen? And he said he had this conversation with his son Andrew, and Andrew just let him have it. Just freaking tore him a new one. Dude went in. Like he was just yelling at him and getting all that emotion out. And Bedros was like, holy smoke, I didn't even know he had all this in him. Like he had all these things, this almost like rage, it felt like, pent up that he needed to get out. And as soon as his dad opened the door, it was like Pandora's box. He went crazy on him. Sometimes we need that. Maybe that's what you do with your son. Maybe you need to have that conversation with him, but maybe you're running away from it because you don't want to hear that you're not perfect and that you're scared of what he's going to tell you or what critique he's going to give you, what feedback he's going to give you. You got to man up, dude, and not worry about that. Put your ego and your feelings aside for a second. Have this conversation with him and understand what he's feeling. So if you have a son where he's not connecting with you, it's your responsibility to fix that and deal with it and move forward. Me and my dad had that conversation when he was coming home, like around maybe a month or so before he came home. Him and I had this conversation about how we're going to move forward from this. And a lot of it was me telling him, dude, I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you that you weren't there. I'm still mad at you that you missed all of these different events in my life. And I don't really know how to forgive you, to be honest with you. I don't know. But I understand that I have to forgive you because if I'm trying to get to a certain level in life, then I need to be able to, reconcile and reconnect with you, my dad. And so anyways, have that conversation with your kids, man. It's so important. And if you're not, man, shame on you. Like you're just dirtbag. I can't understand when you can bring children into this world and then not want to pour into them in this way. And so anyways, it's your responsibility to teach them the game, right? If you don't want them going to follow someone else, then you need to teach them the game. If you don't want them to follow, these gangbangers in the street, or if you don't want them to follow these dudes that they're watching online, because obviously I named a lot of positive people, very insightful people, successful people that you probably wouldn't mind him following, but there's also some people on there that you probably wouldn't want your son watching or your children watching. And so if you're like, hey, well, I want to be the one that he listens to, then you need to teach him the game yourself. You need to teach him how to, problem solve, how to fight and defend themselves, how to become not only book smart, but street smart, how to navigate the world as a man, how to not be so soft and fragile. Like these are all important conversations and skills and topics that you guys need to be discussing. But it oftentimes won't happen if it doesn't start with you first. Again, another part of being a man is being a leader. Being masculine means to be a leader, to lead. Now, you being on this, totem pole of hierarchy in your household, if you're the father, then you need to go and open that door with your son. Bedros opened the door for Andrew to open up and talk. He invited him to have that conversation. Don't expect your son to open up to you and just, well, I'm waiting on him. I'm waiting on the timing. That's a weak excuse, dude. You got to be the leader, step up and help guide him to that conversation. So there's that. So I hope after this video that you at least has you kind of take those steps to start having these kind of conversations with them. So anyways, guys, the lesson here is, as I said before, is number one, if you're a young man watching this video and you don't have your father in your life, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. There are tons of positive male mentors that you can watch, positive men that you can listen to and get game from, get knowledge from, extract wisdom from. And if you're a father watching this and you're wondering what happened with your son, why don't you have the relationship in the first place to where he wants to listen to you? It's also not too late. There's a way to reverse it and heal it and have a stronger relationship than you ever thought was possible. So make sure you have those tough conversations and do the hard work to better yourself and your relationship. So guys, if this episode brought you any value, I encourage you to continue to help us share this message. If you can like this video, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you are watching this video and you have not yet subscribed, please do us a favor and subscribe. We're going to have episodes coming weekly, and so we want you to be a part of this conversation and helping us, help this issue of fatherless homes and even the homes that have fathers in it, helping men step up and be better dads. So anyways, until next time, we'll see you next time.